Hi, and welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the lands and airwaves where this conversation takes place. Land which was never ceded, land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally, and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and rising. Today I'm talking to executive chef Jason Staudt at Stokehouse. I went into Stokehouse at golden hour as the glow of the late afternoon sun bathed the dining room. Winter is the best time for sunsets, they told me, and as I left after chatting to Jason, the sky was awash with deep coral. It's a stunning dining room. Who wouldn't want to sip wine and eat glorious food looking out over Port Phillip Bay? It's even more stunning once you know how intentional the rebuild was post-2014 fire. Owner Frank Van Haandel wants to contribute to a world his grandchildren will enjoy, and to that end worked with designers, architects and chefs to create a sustainable building and sustainable practices. Leading the kitchen and the sustainability goal is Jason Staudt, who began his career at the age of 15, attending cooking school at S.A.I.T before completing his training at the River Café in Calgary. He then moved to the Alaskan and northern British Colombian regions to work on a private yacht, catching the seafood he'd then go on to cook and serve. After several years working at some of the world's best restaurants in Canada, some stage in London and New York, Jason moved to Newcastle in Australia, and then met Moran's Aria at Barangaroo House, Sydney. Over the 8 years he was there, Jason climbed the ranks to head chef, and also worked on the road with Matt before transferring to Moran's neighbouring Barangaroo House restaurant B. In 2019, Jason moved to Melbourne to lead the Stokehouse Kitchen. One of the main reasons the move to Stokehouse felt right for Jason was Van Haandel's views on a deep commitment to sustainability, and we talked at length about this. I learned so much from talking to Jason, and I can't wait to get back to Stokehouse at sunset to soak up more of the joy.
Oh, hello.
Fine, thank you. Hi, Jason. Thank you.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome.
Thank you. I was just sitting here thinking, do you ever get sick of this view?
No, not unless it's like pouring rain and it's like smashing on the thing.
Yeah.
All these leaks in the dining room.
Oh, okay. Less romantic, but...
Yeah, definitely. It's a beautiful space though, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah. I mean, and the sea's right there. I mean,
Yeah.
you can really see the beach. I love it. Beautiful.
I love how the dining room is like humbled down as well, like with the unfinished wood and stuff like that. And then you look out there and you're like, whoa.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. I think in so many cities, there's lots of waterfront eateries, but Melbourne doesn't really have that many. So I guess that adds that extra special thing as well.
Yeah, quintessentially Melbourne, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
How was Aotearoa, New Zealand?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's good. Are you from New Zealand?
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. I'm from Christchurch though, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So you must have a firm friendship with Josh now. Is that what's happening? Doing these reciprocal visits?
So he came in for lunch last year. When was that? August, I think. Maybe July. And he loved what we were doing here, and it's really similar to their values and stuff like that. And we met and chatted and came up with the across the ditch kind of concept, which is a lot of fun. And we had their lunch here. We did a lunch here because he loved obviously this, just like you. He just
where's Onslow? Is that in the city?
Auckland's kind of at the top of the hill, if you know, near the Pullman and all the kind of like it's a newer developed area. It's a gorgeous area. Okay. Gorgeous building.
Yeah, but
really
no view?
No, not. Oh, there's one side that has a nice view.
Yeah.
But it's like a beautiful dining room. Like it's a dining room where you're like very much encapsulated into the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, where do you start when you're doing a collaboration like that? How do you start talking before you go, or do you wait to get there and see what's there, what's in the market? Or?
Yeah, it was. We just had chats like back and forth, a lot of Zoom meetings in those days, and then we just talked about like produce driven is everything that we do here, and it's a lot what they do, and procurement of like premium produce and like different produce and smaller producers and stuff like that. And so that was pretty big part of both venues. Obviously we're not super high end here, but we're still pretty high end. You know what I mean? And they're in a very similar kind of, they don't want anyone to be scared to come. You know what I mean? Well, something for everyone, like birthday celebrations or Friday lunch, whatever suits your vibe. And they're very kind of similar. So then we just said, why don't we just do course by course? So when they came here, it was like they did a snack, we did a snack, they did a snack, we did a snack. They brought some New Zealand stuff over, which was pretty cool, like paua and stuff like that. It was really interesting to use, which is really actually tasty. And then, their techniques as well. A few of their techniques were really nice. And then we did a similar thing when we went over there. We brought, we showed off the king of the sea, coral trout, which is, Australia's best fish in some circles. And then we brought over our Gundagai lamb, which we champion. And we did a few other little bits and pieces, snacks. Talked about the sustainability thing.
Yeah, no, I'm interested to hear a bit more about the sustainability things. I think that's really taken off in New Zealand as well. They've got that whole, there's a really big food movement there now that's really into that, and sustainability and obviously seasonality, but that goes hand in hand. So I know you're doing lots of things for sustainability at Stokehouse. Where to start? Tell me about your ethos and what you're doing.
I guess, it started with when Frank approached me, like 5 years ago. I was at Aria and at B. He approached me and he said, we're doing this restaurant. We want to get 5 Green Star, one of the first in Australia of this size and this magnitude. Because it's normally just like office buildings and stuff like that are 5 Green Star rated. But to run, design, and run a hospitality business under that is like, they basically wrote the book, and all the back work that went into that, and I wanted to be a part of that. And then just slowly as I came on, and I just made a lot of rules here. I started to add rules like instantly banned cling wrap, we reduced lots of reduce of chucks. We don't put anything under our cutterbergs except for like little rubber rings, instead of using a towel that just goes into the laundry or whatever, or chucks that just go into the bin, just lots of things. And then you just add onto that and add onto it and slowly add on. The recent things we've done, we've added on Bardi to our kind of portfolio of sustainability, I guess, which is Bardi is a system where they have 1 billion black soldier flies who they pick up our waste, our food waste, or whatever we have left of food waste. That's including what's cleared from tables, stuff like that. Everything goes into the Bardi. The black soldier flies kind of, lay their larvae and they attack it and they eat it. And the larvae then is fed to fish farms.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the compost or
so
whatever.
It's like a big container.
It's a huge container.
Wow.
Yeah. Phoebe's an absolute legend, and who came up with it. It's a world first as well. You can go to Bunnings and you can buy the Superfly. It's called Superfly, and it is super plant food. I use it on my plants at home. She gave me a little thing. Unbelievable. My plants just like exploded because there's so much protein that's in the black soldier fly casing.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. And then is there a fish project as well about consumer fish? Put one back.
Yeah. So Chris Gillies is, he's been in the industry forever. He's a microbiologist. I can't do the same justice that he talks about it, but he is an absolute beautiful human, and he's doing the right thing. So he's starting this program, One Fish, Two Fish. So for every kilo of fish that we buy, or shellfish or whatever, it's money kind of goes back to them, and then they are helping building reefs or habitat or grass fields and stuff like that into the ocean, because no one's really doing that. Because what happened in Port Phillip Bay is it used to be like a plethora of seafood, and there was like everything here. Shellfish lined the waters like everywhere, you know what I mean? It was, like there was endless food here, and then we just dredged it as humans. We just dredged it and ruined it, and it takes forever for that to build back, or it'll never build back unless we help it. And so he's helping it, and that's and just to be one of the first to jump on board of that, like there's not many businesses that are able to do that, especially in hospitality, but I feel like if we're doing the right thing, we hope more people follow. You know what I mean? And
that's right. Well, I suppose, hopefully these things get, I wouldn't say less expensive, but there's a financial element, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
And also a huge organisational element. Already when you're planning for a restaurant, this is a whole other level to think of all those other things, isn't it?
Totally. And Frank was genius, like the foresight that he had, where he was, I wanted to build a restaurant for my grandchildren.
Yep.
Like, thinking about that is just like, whoa, that's like hectic foresight in a time that no one was really thinking about sustainability, or it was just started to like come on the map a little bit here and there. Now it's like front and center, And the problem is, like, in my opinion, there's so much greenwashing, and so we feel like that's why we try not to scream it too much to the rooftops. It's not too much in your face. It's just a part of what we do day to day. The team is behind it. We have a great team that just gets behind it. We have the best kitchen hand team in all of Australia, I bet, because they have to do so much extra work.
Yeah.
Shuck Don't Shuck is another one where they pick all of our oyster shells up. They get inoculated in a bath, and then they get dropped back into Port Phillip Bay, and that creates like a reef from the shells.
Okay.
So a new reef is built from oyster shells, which is, helps more plants and, fish life, marine life come back.
Absolutely. Wow. And on a food level, using everything. A question like how easy is that is a stupid question, but how easy is that?
it's a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of extra labor, which is, again, in hospitality isn't an easy thing. Nobody works. Well, there's still people that do, but restaurants are moving away from 80-hour weeks, There's a bit more of a balance, which is great, and that's also sustainable in a lot of ways in its own right.
Oh, absolutely, that's right.
And we are very much a part of that.
Yeah.
And so it's smart labor in a way, you know what I mean? Picking your battles, stuff like that. But yeah.
So what have you got on your menu at the moment that would be an example of using everything?
Yeah, so with our current flathead dish, it's we're calling it what do we call it? Fish color nuya. So it's like the color of the fish that usually gets bin and around the head and the tail and all the stuff on the bones that gets scraped, and we turn that into a nuya, which then gets turned into a sauce, like a really rich, like spice driven sauce, and that's served with flathead, and it's absolutely delicious. But like, you wouldn't really know that it's such a focus on sustainability because it should just be part of your everyday, life.
That's
right.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah.
We take tuna heads and tuna frames from the market that normally just go in the bin. We scrape them. We serve it on our little tuna belly bite with watermelon. Absolutely delicious. Stuff like that.
And how do you find out about that stuff? Is it just research?
Pressure.
And pressure.
Constant gentle pressure.
Okay, necessity is a great teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, constantly. Like, just the suppliers, I'm very lucky to have the suppliers we have, and we deal with a lot of very small producers, and that's super important to us, very important to what we do here.
Absolutely. And where did it all start for you? Are you someone who always knew that he wanted to be a chef?
Yes and no. I wanted to be a pro snowboarder, and then like it kind of goes hand in hand, working nights, and then I broke my back. And all the injuries that come with snowboarding, and then I was already working in kitchens, and I just loved it. I loved the team atmosphere. I loved that whole element. I loved the rush. I loved the adrenaline, and then it just kind of continued on. I started working in better and better and better kitchens. Spent some time in Alaska on private boats, catching the seafood I serve.
Wow.
And diving for abalone and diving for urchin, and it's just special.
And that, so you that all started in Canada.
Yeah.
And then, so Alaska, and then, was it London or New York?
Yeah, so I did like a stint at 11 Madison. It's really hard in those days was for a Canadian to get a visa, or it was costly, and I didn't really have the money as a 23-year-old. And so I just did, a bit of time in that kitchen and just felt the environment and just feeling and how they work and what they do and the level of precision and the passion and all that. And then I traveled South America for a little while, and then I ended up in Australia and worked at a place in Newcastle, which was a 2-hat restaurant called Bacchus, and it was a very, very good restaurant. And then from there I went to Aria. I got headhunted to Aria and to work with Ben Turner and Matt Moran, and that was there for 7 years. Moved up to head chef there, and then I went over to B to work with Corey Campbell and Tom Haynes, and we got the hat there. And then Frank approached me, and here I am.
And is getting hats, is that important to you? Do you need accolades?
No, I just want to do the right thing.
How do you know you're doing the right thing?
Team tells everything. Team is everything. If the team, wants to get behind something, you're on the right path. It's all about inspiring the next generation. I think there's like a bit of a wish-wash with how things are reviewed and stuff like that. So I don't really get too focused on it, because you don't want to get, caught up in it in a way.
I was going to ask you about that, because I'm increasingly finding reviews hard to read. I feel as though that top-down reviewing is outdated now. I don't know what in what other industry, and I might be wrong, perhaps this does happen, it probably happens in sports, but that constructive criticism is published for everyone to read. I do think, obviously, diners are coming to eat and they pay money, and so there has to be a certain standard. I just don't know anymore about this reviewing where it's like, this was awful, don't go there,
I couldn't agree more. Word of mouth is everything.
That's right.
Those are the places I go to. Those are the places I want to go to. I keep in my little community. The rest is kind of, I'd said it's noise. Like, it is what it is. And I just trust who I trust and keep my community small, and that's what it's all about.
And it sounds as though, we've already touched on sustainability in people, and obviously well-being. Sounds like you have a really great team, and that it sounds as though you're really supportive of that team. But apart from the hours, how do you deal with well-being amongst your staff and yourself?
I guess it's, for us, the hardest change when we really pushed to like a kind of like a shorter work week was people not working on their days off. That was a hard one, and for a lot of chefs it is hard, because you're like, in my position, I'm always checking my email, or I'm, and so I really focus on trying to not have my phone, or if I'm with my family, I'm or if I'm with my son, I'm I try my best to like put my phone away and just focus on the moment. And that's like, we talk about it a lot in our briefings and stuff like that, and taking care of each other. That was a big shift. That was I think that, and that's a shift that is still slowly happening, because I get caught up in it as well, like a phone call on my day off, or something like that, or something's happened here, and anything can happen, right? So it's that was hard, and it's still hard, and I still struggle with that. And I think leading from me to try not to do that, and so then it shows the sous chefs not to do that, and the head chefs like Mark, him not to do that. My pastry chef Ash, we try our best, you know what I mean? We respect people's time. That is the biggest thing, is respecting people's time. And for me, it's getting outside. I have to be outside as much as absolutely possible. So whether that's golfing or in the water or whatever, that's super important.
Yeah. And do you get back to Canada very often?
I haven't been back since COVID.
No.
So I had a son, and my family has been over, and my partner's family has been over, and she's in the UK right now, which is hard to be away from them, but that's just kind of the modern family we are in. Yeah. But I'll get back there. Definitely get back there. And
is the food scene, how similar is it to Australia?
It's pretty different, I'd say. It's quite a bit different. Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's less media. I'd say there's less media. There's still like obviously, MasterChef and Top Chef and all these shows and stuff like that. But it's, I don't know, it's less of a. I'd say it's less of a scene unless you're in Vancouver, Toronto, or Montreal. The rest is kind of, it's very different, I'd say. And being, I was from a landlocked city, so it's seafood is a very different thing there. Whereas like Vancouver, the seafood is unbelievable. It produces everything.
Yeah. Well, with all your experiences in mind and with, I guess, the way that the industry is changing, what would your advice be to someone who is thinking about becoming a chef?
I'd say, like, you have to want to do it for you, you know, and you'd have to really want to do it, because the first, 10 years, just listen and learn and listen and learn and take in as much as you can. Don't try to move up too quickly, because you'll regret it. You'll feel like you missed something. I was lucky enough to have great mentors along the way that said similar things to me, but just focus on your craft, focus on your hands, listen to your hands, listen to your taste buds, taste everything as much as you can, and then go from there. But don't rush. Like, take your time, really take your time, because opportunities come, and when they do come, they come quickly, so just take your time and focus on the small things, focus on everything around you and your team. Like, you'll be so surprised who you'll see later in life from people that you were, working on a line with somewhere, and you'll be like, wow, how are you, man? Like, it's wild how this industry works. It's so small.
Yeah. Just to pick up on something you said about taste buds and tasting everything, are you still able to be surprised by flavours, or do you feel like you've had them?
Definitely.
You haven't had all the flavours.
No, definitely. I'm sure people have talked about it, but like, Ross is a friend of mine at S.A.I.T, and tasting a lot of like Filipino foods, as it's something new. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, like in Canada, there's lots of Filipinos, but I was part of kind of a Filipino family for a little while, but like having those flavors in that kind of environment, it's cool. Stuff like that. Or, oh man, there's so much out there. It's culture focus, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, cultures just kind of come and go, and flavors come and go, but food trends are funny, like fashion.
And where do you get your inspiration then?
I guess mine is like relationship based. So first, it's like, if someone's doing the right thing, then I will take it to the next level and try what they're doing, and then and go from there. But like anyone, it just comes with anything, With my partner and I, we go to galleries and we see things, and we're like, oh, that could be those colors, you know what I mean? And then like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that could be something. Yeah. Or, like a takeaway shop, you know what I mean? Like, our famous potato cake up here started in the fish and chip shop downstairs, and then we did a really bougie one, and we started with caviar and urchin and like all these things. So it can be anything. The humble potato can go so far, or anything can be bouged up in a way,
Nice. And what would be your go-to comfort food when you're not working?
It's a tough one. I'm a big fan of Heaney's chicken. I make it at home. That would probably be up there. Nice. Just clean, and it feels healthy, and the stock and everything like that. Yeah, plus we eat like lots of veg at home, so we don't really eat too much meat. But yeah.
Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Jason Staudt at Stokehouse. You can check out all the goodness, and there is a lot of it, on Instagram at Stokehouse Restaurants. That's STOKEHOUSE Restaurants. There are some incredible food photos there. If that doesn't get you down there, well, do think about the sunsets. Gorgeous. And if you liked what you heard and you want to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can also read the chat and become a subscriber at www.conversationwithachef.com. I would love it if you told a friend about my chats, and of course, you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Once again, thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.